Let me just find out. I have to share my screen. Hold on. Screen share. Oh, look at that. You can just do a window. Oh, we just want the whole thing. Desktop. Start screen share. Oh my God. Stop. Are you in? Are you in it? Are you in the Oh, can you see you can see the Are you already in the Hangout? I have trouble hearing you because I'm not using I'm using the speakers on the computer. All right, hold on. Let me just see if it works. Let me just see if Can you see what I'm doing? I see what you're doing. Oh, because I'm still attached to Skype. All right, yeah, well, I probably might have to undo that because the sound won't. You can't? No, you can't. Let me, I just, first. Whoa, there we go. So you're seeing that. Okay. All right, you see the whole thing now? All right, let's see if it plays. But you can't hear it, obviously. You're not in the Gmail one. You're not in the Hangout, right? Yeah, I did. I sent you a specific invitation. And I don't know how to get back to it to get it. Let me just see. In your Gmail. All right. Here. I'm going to it's too long to tell you. Yep. Shoot. I can't tell how. I guess that's the whole thing. Oh, I just came out of copy. I just got blocked out of Skype. Can you hear me? Yay, yay.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I guess nobody had used it here before, so I had to install it.
Okay, so I got you. Now let's try the screen share. Oh, shucks. Hold on. Let me just try the screen share. Back to this. Back to this. Back to this. Any sound?
No. I mean, I can hear you.
But you can't, it can't. All right, let me just try one. Let me, I just don't know which.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird, actually. Why wouldn't I remember we tried it with my computer and I could hear. Didn't we try this, or could that just hear you?
Yeah, we did. No, we did. And I just I don't know what.
Because you played the video and actually I could hear it, right? I think we tried this before.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out. Let me just try build output. I'm just trying to try the. I should take off the headset. Let's just see. All right. Let me just see.
Sometimes the headset does affect, by the way.
I know. Let me just take this out of here.
I cannot hear you now, obviously.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so built-in output.
And it's not too bad, by the way. I can hear you pretty well.
I know. I just let me all right. So you can't hear. You can hear me, but let's just try this thing again. Screen share. This one. Play.
This photograph hangs on the wall in my house, and I see it every day.
Yes.
The older man behind the counter.
Hear it? Yes.
You hear it?
Hear it? Yes. Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So do you want to also try the full projection of the slides, or you're good?
Say it again.
I did not see the project. So I see you and I heard the sound. We didn't do when you're showing actually the slides.
Oh, huh? No, all right. Let me just see. I don't know what.
I continuously see you. I did not see the slides. But
Okay,
I
don't know
you
how
play the video.
I don't know how to, well, if I just do this. Do you see it now?
Nope.
It shouldn't be this hard. I don't know why.
It's because I see that I think it's, you see, it's not, does Google Hangouts have share screen?
Here, let me just do this.
Yeah, because you're not sharing the screen. Yeah, now it's looking better. I mean, okay, and it hasn't come up yet. Okay, we're getting there.
Now, if I do this, you see it?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, you do?
Yes, I do. It's perfect.
And you hear it?
This
again.
Okay, fine. All right.
So great.
So
great trouble.
Right, well, I don't know why it's doing all that.
You know what? Why don't I? I'm not gonna hang out. I mean, because it's time. I'm gonna let my students come in.
Yep.
You can just put your slides up if you want, and just stay, you know, there for a few minutes until I get everybody settled. How's that?
Okay. Can you see when I screen share? What do you see? Just the big presentation. That's it.
No. Now I see too much.
No, not now. But when I do it, do you see me still or no?
Can you do it once more? Now I don't see you at all.
Like here.
Here I don't see you. I only see a little coffee there, but not the video.
Okay, but you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Fine. All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So just stay there, and I will let you. I will let you know when we're ready. All right, we're ready. I guess you would have been experienced all the technology struggles, but you know, another time. This learning experience is really something another time. Is it maybe, let me see. I can still change the camera a little bit, but let me see how much we see. Try to be on one side of the room if you can, so I can point the camera to that. Well, I guess we're gonna fill it up. Let's see. Let's have everybody, because I don't think the camera has wide enough range to get the whole circle. So maybe for this purpose, you can actually let me see which one. Yes. All of us. Could we like camera? Yeah, it's okay, but if we can try our best, right? Yeah, no, she doesn't need to see all of you exactly all the time, but we can try our best so that we have a more realistic meeting here. Okay. I think we don't see you guys over there, right? Is that right? We move things around a little bit. Yeah, what do you think is a good spot? There you go. It is here. No, actually for this session, since you'll be watching her for some time, maybe you can sit here and here, right? Yeah. So why don't you guys sit here? Okay, now fine. And take those. Yeah. We're honored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm missing a few. Should we wait a minute or two? No, here we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yes, I'm missing 2 people, right? I guess we can, just give 1 minute and then. What time is it? Is it 4:30? It's working a lot. Okay, it's okay. That's my facility. Okay, guys, I'm gonna start. Okay, because we have a packed schedule today. So Kathy, I'm starting. Maybe. Okay. Okay, maybe do you wanna do the video for just the introduction, or is it gonna make things complicated?
Well, I'll be back. I'll just be a little voice for now. Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, so guys, I'm very, very excited to introduce you to Kathy Stroke. So Kathy Stroke has more than 20 years of experience in technology and education. Her CV is a little bit too big for me to go over right now. She has worked as a librarian. She's been technology director for a couple of school districts. But what I admire more is that since I have spent more time actually in academia rather than in classrooms, but I started working with real teachers and real classrooms quite closely. And then I realized that every time that I needed some kind of guidance, how to do things, people would point me to Kathy Stroke, right, and her guides, and how to do things in a way that makes sense and have real impact in a classroom and for teachers. So then that started how I started knowing Kathy Stroke, not personally, her work. So I started visiting the site. I started using her materials whenever I wanted to actually communicate with real teachers and share things that made sense and people could use. And then Kathy has been advising teachers, people in education, directors. She's the go-to person. And we're very lucky to have her here because I've also attended her talks
at all the major conferences. You will be here, by the way, at Easter. And you will have an opportunity to meet her if you're at the conference. So the nice thing that talks to Kathy's popularity is that when you go to a conference like this, like Easter or the FATC, or like this huge, the ASCD, when you go to these huge conferences, there's so many multiple sessions that normally there are small rooms that, and then you expect about 20, 25, okay, maybe 50 people in a room in a concurrent session. So that's the kind of room you normally have. But of course, when Kathy gives a talk, then I have to triple the size of the room because there will be more than 200 or 300 people that will storm in to hear her talk. So, and we're very lucky we have her, here right now with us through Skype. Kathy could talk about 1 million different aspects of teaching. I invited her to talk to us about digital storytelling. I have attended her talk, her presentation on this topic, and it's been really, really useful. And also, I think digital storytelling is something that we think we understand. We maybe want to somehow integrate into our teaching, but really we don't have a lot of experience other than thinking, okay, it's a story that is digital. So I think it would be a great addition to our curriculum, and Kathy will share a lot of very, very practical tips about not about the theorems of digital storytelling, but how to actually integrate it, implement it, and I think she will share some examples and experiences. So Kathy, the floor is all yours.
Oh, thank you. We started off, by the way, in Skype, and then we moved to a Google Hangout. So right now, you can't see me, but I will say hello in person in a little while. So the title of the presentation is Digital Storytelling Across the Curriculum, because I think it's one of the models that can easily be used to target any one of the content areas. I'm going to give you an introduction to digital storytelling. I'm going to talk about some ideas for use. I'm going to show you some process and procedure for creating digital stories. I'm going to go over a bunch of apps. And then if you're not all like totally exhausted at that point, we'll have a little Q&A. This is a link to the support page. And so everything that I talk about is here. So you don't need to take notes, and you don't need to, I'm going to be going, I only have you for a short period of time. I'm going to fill you with as much as I can. So don't even try to take notes. There is a Padlet page if you want to add some thoughts of your own or some critiques, or if I say something that you don't agree with or you have some other ideas, you can go to padlet.com/Kathy Schrock Stories. So my friend Midge Frazel describes digital storytelling as bringing new life to the ancient craft of written or oral storytelling through computer-generated text and multimedia content. I love this description since it really showcases that digital storytelling is not something new and unusual, but it just adds a new way of doing something that we probably already do in classrooms. My friend Dennis Grice reminds us to remember that digital storytelling is simply good storytelling with digital tools. And first you have to worry about the storytelling, and then you worry about the digital tools. Janet Ortega provides us with some of the benefits of using digital storytelling in the classroom. I'll let you read those. So the art of creating a digital story provides students with practice in many of the different literacy areas also. These include traditional literacy, information literacy, visual literacy, media literacy, and tool literacy. I have 13 different literacies, so these are just some of them that digital storytelling can target. When you look at digital storytelling for a formative or summative assessment for students, you first need to think about ways they can be used. Here are some ideas, but of course you're going to have plenty of your own once you see these, and you probably already have. Karen Bosch has created this list of products created on the iPad that can be digital stories. I added a couple on my own, but any one of these kinds of things can be digital stories. Bernadine Porter is the creator of the Digitales site, and she offers 4 examples of how digital storytelling can be used in the classroom. Students probably already study myths and legends, so have them create their own. Have students create a docudrama from the point of view and the time period of the person being studied. They can show mastery of content by describing it and providing insight. And they can create advertising or a public service announcement to influence an audience, which includes media literacy methodologies also. So public service announcements are a great way to start the digital storytelling process. With their short length of only 30 to 60 seconds, the consideration of their audience who's going to be watching this public service announcement, they only make a single point, so they're easy for students to think about, concentrate on that single point, and they also provide a specific action for someone to take. So here are 2 of my favorite student-produced public service announcements, and they're tiny because they're old, and this is back in the days before anybody had high-def anything. So I just want you to watch them.
You can find a good friend walking to school. All you got to do is follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do to you, and believe it or not, before you are through, you got a good friend. Everybody needs one, a good friend. It's so hard to find a good friend. So take my advice, get yourself a good friend. Get yourself a good friend.
Hall pass, a good friend.
Get yourself a good friend.
So the video production class in that high school were charged with creating short, entertaining videos to talk about the expectations at school. And this one you'll know is old by looking at it, but I just think it was really clever. These both won media contests back in the day.
With more than 12.4 billion spam emails sent daily, consider investing in a spam killer program or a firewall to protect your computer and, more importantly, your family from unwanted spam.
Lainey, are you getting feedback from my speakers?
What do you mean?
Like when it's playing in here, is it coming over the mic to you?
Sound is working.
Okay. All right, great. So a friend of mine, Meg Ormiston, asked many teachers to talk about ways they might think about using digital storytelling across the curriculum. So here are some ideas from teachers that taught social studies. And this is a sample social studies single image digital story created by a teacher who shows it to his students before having them take a primary source image, doing research on it, and then creating a story about it.
This photograph hangs on the wall in my house, and I see it every day. The older man behind the counter on the left is my grandfather, wearing an apron in his grocery store in Virginia, named Robbins Market and Grocery. The man next to him is apparently a store worker whose name I do not know. The young boy in front of the counter is my father. A calendar on the wall shows that the photo was taken in January and that the first day of the month was a Friday. Knowing that my father was born in September of 1921 and searching the web for old calendars, I can tell that the year was 1926 and my father was 5 years old. I noticed some familiar and not so familiar items in the picture, that were for sale in the store. On the counter in front of my grandfather are boxes of Kraft cheese, descendants of which are still sold today. Above him, however, are boxes of Kellogg's Pep cereal, a product which I've never heard of. A Wikipedia search informs me that Pep was introduced in 1923 and was a long-running rival to Wheaties, which are still being sold in today's supermarkets. As a fan of comic books and Superman, I find it interesting that Pep cereal sponsored an early version of the Superman series broadcast on the Mutual Radio Network. A little more web searching takes me to YouTube, where I can even watch old television commercials for Pep. And I learned that Pep is a build-up wheat cereal that has more builder upper vitamins than any other ready-to-eat wheat cereal. I wish I could learn even more about not just the grocery items for sale, but about my father and his father, and their lives before, during, and after 1926. Unfortunately, they are gone now, and even the most powerful search engines available in 2013 do not provide me with any more information about Robbins Market and Grocery. I am left staring at this photograph, wondering about all of the mysteries that are hidden in its details.
Now, when I first saw this video, I was thinking, and listened to it, I was thinking that he should have maybe, zoomed in on the calendar and zoomed in on the Kraft cheese and the Pep cereal. But the more you see people using that Ken Burns effect or that zooming in and out, that takes away from the story, because you're thinking the whole time as it's zooming, where's it going? What am I going to see? This way, he's just telling us an overview. And then again, you can find out more later by going and investigating the image. So it actually is the most effective way to do something like this. Here are some ways to use digital storytelling in science. We have 79 slides and we're on 21, so just sit back. Oh man, did I lose you?
Just the full screen presentation.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
Here you definitely see a lot of stuff.
I don't know where the presentation went. You're seeing me now, though? No?
No, we see your screen.
Let's see. I think interestingly enough, it keeps, let's see. We'll try this again. We'll get there. All right, you see it?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, fine. So this particular science song has been causing a lot of, it's become very popular among students. This is a periodic table digital story, and students are actually saying when they're taking the test, they're singing this under their breath. So we're just not going to watch the whole song, but you're going to watch some of it.
The elements of the periodic table.
There's hydrogen and helium, and lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon everywhere, nitrogen all through the air, oxygen so you can breathe, and chlorine for your pretty teeth, neon to light up the sign, sodium for salty times, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, then sulfur, chlorine, and argon, potassium, and calcium so your nose goes, scandium, titanium, vanadium, and chromium, and manganese. This is the periodic table, no gas is stable, halogens and alkali react aggressively. Each period will see new outer shell, the electrons are added, moving to the right.
So in here are some math ideas for digital stories. I want you to watch part of this video. This is a math, this is one of a series of 9 videos that 3 high school educators made to try to get kids at 9th grade math engaged. So this one is about elapsed time.
Who's watching? Tell me who's watching? Who's watching me? I'm just an average man, living average lifetime. Hey, what are you doing on Mr. Bingley's computer? Oh, hey, shh, just keep it quiet. He doesn't know where I don't know where he went, but just just don't tell anybody. I might be mad if he gets over here. So, what are you doing? Top secret. I told you I'd have to kill you. All right. I think we're good. All right. I'm almost finished. Okay. Hey, what are you guys doing on my my computer. Mr. Oz, he said it was okay. No, he said it was okay. No, he said it was okay. No, Mr. Bender, I was just checking on him. I didn't see you. He authorized it. He said, I needed a computer. And I said, why don't you use Mr. B's? How long have you been on here, Mr. Bender? I think it was like 9:37. 9:37? 9:37. Do you realize what time it is right now? It's like 11:09. It's exactly 11:09. How much time did that be? I'm terrible at elapsed time. You don't know elapsed time? Don't worry, let me teach you. Just wait a minute. Oh yeah, I always want to learn about elapsed time. All right,
So I'm not going to have you listen to the lesson about elapsed time. I just would like to say that it was pink hair day at school, and that's why Mr. Binkley has pink hair and no regular clothes on. So anyway, there's 9 of them. They're hysterical. Their characters each play the same role. So one of the things about digital stories is recurring characters are often very engaging. So if students created a set of digital stories across the curriculum, they could actually have a central character that carries all the way across. The related arts are often a perfect place to use digital storytelling. So in health, the students can create a public service announcement about the importance of sleep from the point of view of a sleepy cab driver. In art, become a master artist. Computer, make a video, why is evaluating information important? Make a story about that. In music, act out the way an instrument works. In library, demonstrate fiction versus nonfiction books. And in PE, maybe create a story about a couch potato. Obviously, you can come up with any number of these on your own. You can also, sometimes there has to be just a way to get the students started. So you can show them a weird photo and ask them to write a story about it. You can show them just a picture of some ordinary piece of string, or is this a piece of string, and have a story about how it got here and why it's here and where it's going after this. You could take a screenshot from a computer game and have students write a story about that. You can show a short part of a video, whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end, and you can have the students talk about write the story about what came before and what was going to become after. Another way to tell a story is for students to use an already existing video, change the scene structure, and add a soundtrack. Here's one that I love. Elaine, is your sound clear, or is it really fuzzy like it is at my end?
It is. We can. I mean, it's not as good as the quality of your voice when you speak, but we can actually hear it.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let's talk about the process of creating a digital story. Let's go over the main components. It's pretty easy: preparing, producing, and presenting. For the teacher, preparing. Preparing includes aspects both for the teacher and for the student. The teacher decides or gives student choice whether the project will be a group or individual project. The teacher will make sure all the technology will be available at point of need. The teacher will create a schedule of the important milestone dates. And whether working with students or finding out on his or her own, the teacher presents the students with a rubric. The Buck Institute has some useful planning forms for teachers for project-based learning projects like digital stories. I have a list of several rubrics on the support page that here's just one part of one of them that also included categories for mechanics and group dynamics, which they don't always do because sometimes they're not group projects. But I thought it was very well done. Student preparation is a little bit different. They have to determine who their audience is going to be for their story. They have to determine what message they want to send to the audience. They create a task list that matches the teacher's important milestone dates that they talked about. They create a storyboard, and then they write the script. Again, the Buck Institute has useful forms for students when creating project-based projects. A storyboard, the student needs to envision what they want the final copy to look like. This is the traditional way to do it with drawings. Or students can actually now bring in still photographs that might illustrate the kind of thing they want to talk about. There are apps for preparing, which include storytelling and script writing apps. Inkflow is an app that allows you to think visually, and it's perfect for storyboarding. You can draw, add pages, import text, photos, and backgrounds. The pages can be saved as PDF and emailed. You can have 20 pages in the free version, which should be plenty. And students, if they need to put 2 screens on a page, they can. All right, and that's available for the iPad. Inspiration Maps Lite is a small version of Inspiration. It comes with a bunch of templates. You're only allowed to make 5 of your own mind maps or concept maps or storyboards, but you can then just, when you're done with it, delete it and make another one. What's nice about Inspiration Maps Lite, as in Inspiration, if a student feels better about creating an outline first, it can turn it into the concept map or the storyboard, or the student can create the storyboard, and then they'll have their outline automatically created for them. For both iOS and Android, Skitch is an app that allows you to pull in an image and write and type on it. So you can actually give a student a background image of a storyboard, and then everybody could just upload that onto their device, and then they could just draw on it and type on it, and then save it to the camera roll to hand in or use as their project. Next comes the script writing. I went to library school a long time ago, but they taught us the 3-column script. One is the scene setup, one is the dialogue, and one is the shooting directions. Depending on who you are, if you're the director, you're caring about the scene setup. If you're an actor, you worry about the dialogue and the people with the shooting with the camera. So this is really how you write a script, and you can use Keynote or PowerPoint on all different platforms. There are online tools that work well for storyboarding also. Bubble.us is a mind mapper, but any one of the mind mappers or concept mappers can be easily used for storyboarding. Amazon Story Builder is an online screenwriting tool. I'm not suggesting students use it for screenwriting, but it does have a nice little storyboard in it. You have to have an account with Amazon, though, of course, to use it. And students can use any Google presentations, PowerPoint, or Keynote in the slide view, right? When you have the slide table view, you actually can do your whole storyboard. Apps for producing include image editing tools, drawing tools, narration and sound recording and editing tools. Fotolr Photo Editor HD allows students access to 22 image processing features. All right, you can put wigs, tooth whitening. Sometimes in elementary schools, the student really wants their picture in their story, but we don't want to show them, so they can make themselves look totally unrecognizable to anybody but probably their parent. Aviary Photo Editor is an Android app with tons of editing features. And Pixlr is a full-featured layer-based image editor that is totally online. If you use the Photoshop elements, you'll notice it looks uncannily like that. Students often like to create their own illustrations to use in their digital story. Doodle Buddy is for the iPad. It's a drawing tool. It's very simple to use, but so anybody from pre-K to grade 12 can easily use it. Sketchbook Mobile is available on both platforms. It's more for the serious artist, but it has some cool little features, like you can do symmetric drawing and it has brush sensitivity. What's also nice about it is if you're halfway done, you can save it and then come back to it and work on it later, and it exports out to the camera roll. There are any number of online drawing programs available. This is one called Sketchpad, very simple to use. Save it out as a JPEG when you're done. Pocket WavePad HD is a full-featured audio editor that allows students to record their narration, because sometimes their narration, they want to put in the narration later into some kind of movie program. iRig Recorder Free is available for both platforms. And the thing I like about iRig Recorder Free is you can record a file that's as long as there's space on your device. So this one you see says available recording space 11.6 gigabytes on whatever device this is. You can record and record and record for hours and hours on end. I wouldn't suggest that because you don't want to fill the device, and also editing it later, it's a huge long file. But you can do it if you're interviewing someone and you don't want that to get in the way. You just set it down and you can have the whole interview on tape, well, on video, virtual tape. Soundation is an online, it's GarageBand on steroids. It has unlimited lines of audio, and it includes all kinds of library sounds and loops to use with it. There's certain apps for presenting. One of my favorites is Sock Puppets, and that's on the iPad. Sock Puppets is two little puppet. Well, you pick as many puppets as you want. You bring in a background, you bring in your puppets, and if you notice picture on the left, the little pink girl's got an arrow over her head. When we start recording, when I talk aloud, her mouth moves, and then you just touch the little dog, and the next person talking or you talking in a different voice, his mouth opens. So here's a little video of that.
Probably thinking, boy, this is a lot of work for one person to do.
Quality's bad.
That's why you gotta put hard questions and some clips.
That's too bad. The quality is really bad. But if you pay for it or you get it in the volume licensing program, you can bring in your own backgrounds and real looking puppets. In Sock Puppets, the voices are really high or really low. If everybody uses the high voice, you have no idea what anyone is saying. So a good thing to do is one person can be their normal voice and they can make their puppet huge. That's what they get for using the real voice. And if the person wants to be the squeaky person, they can they have to keep their puppet small. It's just some way, if you can hear half the conversation or half the story, you know what's going on. This aired during the Super Bowl. And this, you think about screencasting something like this, or a student screencasting, capturing everything that's on their screen to tell a story. I always cry at that one. I would love this. I didn't hear the music very well, so I didn't cry this time, but I usually do. Google Docs Story Builder allows you to create basically a moving story. Each person types in their dialogue piece, and then it creates a movie of it. So it looks almost like that, but I still think screencasting and actual search in Google would be better. Pix and Tell. When students are putting, this is for the Apple device, for the iOS devices. When you're looking for something where students are putting audio behind an image, you want to look for something where they can bring in the images, move them around, record behind each one, and finish that part of the recording, and then the whole thing gets turned into a movie. Because if you have to keep recording audio, you make a mistake, you have to start over. If you decide you want things in a different order, and that particular app doesn't allow it, then you're stuck. So I suggest Pix and Tell. Photobabble is just a single image with recorded audio behind it. It's a good place to start when students are just beginning to record digital stories. It is for iOS, but you have to look under the iPhone apps. It can be saved out to photobabble.com, emailed, sent to Twitter, or put up on Facebook. Narrable is an easy-to-use online story-making site. Just bring in the images, arrange them, record audio for each one, and the resulting show is self-running, and it can be embedded anywhere. And that's an online one that wouldn't work with the iOS, may work with Android online, but it definitely works with Chromebooks and laptops. This is a new one from Microsoft called Sway, and it's a cross-platform presentation tool which was recently launched. You can join the beta at sway.com if you want. You collect the assets from your own device and create the product on the computer or the tablet. I'm not going to put you through their overview, but you can watch that when you get a chance. One really easy to use app and software program, of course, is iMovie on the iPad or the Mac. They both have templates for movie trailers that have storyboards already created, and you just fill in the boxes. Although if you've never made an iMovie trailer before, I just figured, oh, you know, there'll be a few boxes. Well, there's lots of boxes and you have to fill them all in. So I'm one who collects my assets ahead of time, but other people like to just, you can actually, within iMovie trailer templates, you can take their video and you can shoot your pictures also at the same time. All right, I'm not going to take you through a trailer. Sometimes students can use field trips, images from a field trip to tell a digital story. Here's one that I took recently. It does have music, but I can't hear it. Thirty Hands Mobile is a great app that is really great for younger students. Add images or take photos, arrange them in any order by just dragging them. You record audio for each slide. This particular one allows you to easily preview your creation, and then you publish it as a video and it goes right to the photo apps. When you're looking to use any app on whatever platform you're using, if you're using a tablet platform, make sure you can save it to the gallery or to the camera roll. That's really important. It's really not that great if it just lives in the app on the device. So another thing that can be used for creating a digital story is stop motion animation. Now in stop motion animation, usually the problem is the camera gets moved a lot. So I'm partial to iStop motion because iStop motion allows the iPad to be the stage, be the camera that's looking at the stage, and then you can use any other iOS device, a phone or an iPod Touch or another tablet, to actually make the camera take the picture without touching the iPad that's actually your camera. So you can, it gives you little onion skinning so you can move your items from place to place, and you can easily do it without having the camera, the items go up and down as it does when you move the camera. I'll just show you part of one. All right, this isn't one that I did. This is one that someone else did. Do you have any music at all, Eleni?
No.
No, me neither. I think we've filled up the sound card at this point.
Exactly.
My Create is a good stop motion animation for the younger students because you see, if you see on the left-hand side, you see both things. You take your picture, you see the little green and red guy, and then you see the onion skin of it so you can easily move it, you know, and see it right there in front of you. And down below, you can click on any one of the frames and see what happens. And then you can see all the places you can export it. So as long as it goes to the camera roll, you're good, especially for the little kids. They're not going to be sending it to YouTube or Facebook or Vimeo. This one you're going to have to just, but PowerPoint can, or Keynote can both be used to tell a digital story.
I'm going to have you watch some of this. It does have a song behind it, which you probably won't be able to hear, but you'll get the point. So this was created totally in Power. I can talk over it since there's no song. This was created totally in PowerPoint. All right. It was over 250 slides long when it was done, but he's telling the whole story, which I'll just watch a little bit more of it. So basically, this is what we call poor man's Flash. So the way this works is obviously on each slide, you know, this person moved the little items a little bit, and you put a transition with 0 seconds between slides. So then it turns it into a movie. And in real life, other than my copy of it, it's a lot faster than that. All right, so here's what the presentation looks like. Here's some of the slides. A lot of work. Screencasting tools, those that allow you to capture what's on the screen or to talk and record at the same time, can be used for digital storytelling. On the left-hand side, you see ones that are available for iOS. The ones Lenzo Create, Explain Everything, and UT Great are available for both platforms. And then online, there's Screencast-O-Matic, Screener, and Pixie Clip. Right, so you can do that with a screencasting tool. I'm just gonna, this is called ZooBurst, and some of the younger students like this one. What it does is it turns students tell a story, they upload images, and then as it's reading the story, showing the story, the little items pop up and they become 3D. So just an engaging way to create a different digital story for the younger set.
I'm sorry, Kathy. Of course, it would happen.
Magisto is an online tool which allows you to import still shots and videos. It's kind of like Animoto, and it just creates something that's kind of interesting looking. You don't really have a lot of control over it, as you can see by this one. It has catchy music behind it, but it does all these Instagram-like colors and transitions and all, and it has ads in the middle too. So if students can do it correctly, get their stuff in order the right way, it will tell a digital story. No, there's no narration behind it, just music. Online is WeVideo. It's a Web 2.0 app for creation of videos, and it's also available on iOS or Android. So if you have some kind of BYOD initiative, you've met the basic things. If it's online, it's Chromebook, you know, Surface, Mac or PC, and then it's also available on the two tablet platforms. Meograph is an interesting one. Meograph allows you to bring in images, but you can also, when you put in the URL of a YouTube video, it becomes as part of the story. So if YouTube's blocked, it doesn't help you because it won't play. But so you can start a presentation. You can't hear them talking, but they are talking about photosynthesis. And then they're going to say, let's watch this video about sort of photosynthesis. And then we start playing this particular video right within their online presentation. So without them doing anything other than putting in the URL. So you now know digital storytelling is a great way for students to get some different literacy skills. It can be used across the curriculum. Creating a digital story could be simple, and it does sound good when there's sound. And there are lots of online resources to support it. And there are tons of free apps for both preparing, producing, and presenting. So your plan is to take a look at any assessments and decide where a digital story might fit nicely. You have to create multiple exemplar assessments using different tools. If you're working with the younger students, sometimes you're the one that determines the tool they use. For older students, you might guide them along through the first couple of tools and then allow choice for their final. Gather tutorials, how-to tutorials for the students once you have the tools identified. Explain about the process to students, and sketch out a timeline for the project and provide a multidisciplinary rubric for the students. All right, so let me come to you if I can. Eek. If I can shut all this stuff up. Can you see me yet? No.
Not yet.
Now I'm going to stop screen sharing. There I am. Hi.
There you go. Hello. Well, thank you, Kathy. So I hope we still have some time for questions. Let me actually turn this around because we're looking in the wrong direction. Okay, guys, any questions? We'll have a few minutes.
Yeah. So how often do you recommend that teachers integrate digital storytelling activities into their curriculum?
Kathy, I can repeat it. It's a little far. So that was mentioned. He asked, how often do you recommend integrating digital storytelling specifically in the curriculum?
I would say you don't want to do it too much because then it becomes not very special. But, you know, my feeling is if you're picking tools that you're having students use, I mean, they might be making a digital story with that tool, but they also might be doing something else with that tool. So you want to, it's nice having this whole huge toolbox of things in this world, but there's some really, really good tools. If students become very proficient with those tools, you can make them do anything. I mean, they can make infographics, they can make digital stories, they can, you know, make presentations, they can do all kinds of things with them. So my feeling is find 4 or 5 tools that you think will cover across the curriculum, cover different kinds of assessments, and also target the higher order thinking skills. So you want tools that aren't just remembering, but that are creating. And you don't want to create assessments that are just substitution. You want to move towards transformation. So you need to, sometimes when students are, it depends on the age of the student, a digital story might be just one choice for their assessment. You might say, you know what, you can do a comic, you can do a video, you can make a podcast, you can make a digital story, whatever you want, just so at the end of that, the content part of the rubric is that you show me that you've mastered the content. So digital storytelling is just one of the many ways that students can use technology to show you that they've learned what they've learned. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Awfully quiet. Raise your hand if you've learned at least one thing. Okay, good. Only one thing, that's all you need. One a day.
I'll ask another question. How much class, like how much are these projects split between classwork and homework?
Did you say what part of this is classwork and homework?
How do you divide that up? How do you make sure you're not devoting too much class time to these activities while still giving students who don't have technology at home the opportunity to make them?
So how much of it should be classwork versus homework, or a good combination of both?
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, obviously, if it's a one-to-one and they take them home, you can do it however you want, right? But if that's not the case, the things that students can do at home, if they don't have the technology maybe to do the final creation, but if they can get the storyboard done, they can get their ideas down, they can, even if they don't have a computer at all, they can map out exactly what they want to do on paper and then use class time to gather their assets, and then another class time to put them together. So you're always this is the big problem with technology. There's the have and the have-nots. BYOD is, I won't say a good solution, is one solution schools are using because they can't afford to, give everybody something. And most, they say most, students have a phone or a tablet. I see a problem with that from the teacher side because not every device can do everything they want them to do. So if his kid has a stupid phone, all they're going to be able to do is poll everywhere. I mean, they're not going to be able to, create a digital story, and they might be able to take some photos, but sometimes they can't then get it off the phone if they don't have a data plan. So it varies. So all I can say is, any project-based thing that you're doing in class is going to take time. So if you have to assign more of the in-school content to at home, so if you want to do a little, flipping of the content, maybe you can do a little bit of that to free up more class time for a project, which is what I'm not a big flipped classroom proponent, but that is what the model is. What you would have normally gone over in class, they go over at home, you go over it, you review it again in class for any questions, and then you do some kind of project-based learning. So you have to kind of think about it. It is a change in teaching practice, that's for sure. So I can't give you the silver bullet, sorry.
So
anybody going?
I want to ask a question actually before our time is over, and this has to do with the difference between young learners and older, grown-up, adult learners. So I have found, to my extreme pleasure, that when you present younger learners like kids or elementary school students, middle school students, with these kind of opportunities in the curriculum, they just grab them, right? So they're so creative. They present, they come up with projects that really a pleasure to enjoy, to look at. You see what they're learning, you see how engaged they are. But I have found it a little bit tougher to get adult learners, and we do have, here in this class, there are a lot of people that will need to, will work with adult learners, and how to engage them, and how to, people like myself, for example, who came out of a very different educational system, they find it very hard, or they're very, intimidated by whether something will look good or silly, or, I don't know, do you have any experience in how to kind of unlock adult learners into engaging with these kind of newer genres of communicating?
Well, the University of Houston, I'm sorry, my head was down because I was listening. The University of Houston College of Education site has a whole digital storytelling site, and it's all adult learners who are actually creating the stories. The first way for digital storytelling is for someone to tell their story. Everyone has a story. And so if it's just a simple telling a story over that digital image, finding an image that is meaningful to them and then telling a story about it, that's just one way to start. Once people feel comfortable using the tool and also feel comfortable sharing with other people, that's, older people sometimes don't want to, you said they don't want to feel silly, but they don't even want to share their, their thoughts with other people. So I think that single image digital story is a place to start. And then the next thing is to find something they're passionate about and have them, research that and tell the story from the point of view of a different person than themselves. Like my grad students just finished watching videos through the eyes of a student, through the eyes of a teacher, through the eyes of an administrator. Each of them had a different role, and they had to do a reflection based on who they were supposed to be. And it was pretty funny. One of the student ones just said, well, obviously that video was made for an adult because it had a bad word in it. And I'm thinking, I don't even remember there being a bad word in it. Now I have to go back and watch it because, as an adult, it probably just went. So, but that's the kind of thing, you have people step out of their skin and into somebody else's and then try to tell a story that way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Kathy, thank you so much. Do you want to tell us about what you will be talking about at ISTE?
Sure. Is anybody going to ISTE?
I don't know yet, but I do have, you know, it's super expensive. I'm gonna get some people in for the exhibition. We'll see if we can get kind of something more reasonable, but would love to know what you'll be talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking, it's called Do the Ed Tech Hokey Pokey, Put Your Whole Self In. And what it does is it looks at educational trends in all different kinds, not boring ones, kind of interesting ones, but 5 or 10 years out, and things that are technologies that are already coming out. And then some versions of them are available now. So I talk about ways to use some of those things now, and then so you're ready for when they become full blown. Things like indoor GPS, augmented reality, virtual reality, all kinds of, you know, user controlled movements, brain waves, you know, neuro stuff. So it's a very fun presentation. We also dance. So
okay, all right. Well, if people don't come, I will communicate the content. Well, let me get front so I can say bye-bye. So thank you so much, Kathy. We appreciate the talk, and I will see you this soon.
Okay, yep, see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to say, let's thank Kathy. Thank you for remembering that. All right, so yeah, you said don't see anything here, so let's just minimize things here. All right, so we can take a short break. At what point do I do need to actually also check the connection with Sylvia very soon, but let's wait for a little bit. What did you think?
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
You see lots of examples, and I think you're gonna see more from Sylvia. I really thought it would be a very nice complementary kind of presentation because I'm not very big on examples, and both Kathy and Sylvia are super big on giving specific examples and technologies. Maybe we could actually, yeah, you were a little bit quiet. Maybe we could actually get a little bit of a note later, just give her some feedback of what you thought. Everybody likes feedback, right? You know, what you thought was useful, what was engaging, if there is any ideas that you know, that kind of thing planted in your heads about what to do. Did you find any as you were listening? I think when you see examples, that's the nice thing, that you say, oh, maybe we could do this or that, or did you have anything, oh, I hadn't thought of that, but maybe I could use this, or?
Yeah, I mean, Casey, we were all glad because she was very thorough. But still, I did take some notes on some of the apps that would be very equal to whatever. Not all of them I would use, but most of them. The PowerPoint storytelling was amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, by the way. I mean, I personally would pick a different technology to do a story. It's a lot of work. I mean, if you are, but that's, you see, even, I guess I had started that discussion with in some of the meetings that I had with you. It really depends on your interests, right? And how you want to spend, and how you know, how well you know your students, what will engage them. Because it's as said, for example, oh no, we don't do the PowerPoint. I mean, you'll do PowerPoint for a simple animation, but just for this story, I mean, so many slides. On the other hand, if somebody is a great loves to do sketches, right? And I mean, that's an excellent experience to see and get into the nuts and bolts of what animation is, right? So definitely for some people, it is, for me that I'm not very good at that, not drawn to making so many sketches, and just making one sketch is, I have to see a model and then copy it, But for another student that is really, you see somebody making, doing doodles all the time and doing, I mean, that would be actually a great way of spending time because it would be engaged. That's what they would be doing anyway. So I think the nice thing is to see, to start thinking of what to do. I guess it's very nice to see all the examples of different kind of tools. But once you think about what you want to do, we are at the time where you will probably find a tool to do it, Okay, so I think I like in these kind of presentations, of course, it's very inspiring to see the examples. I think it's also very inspiring, however, to see the kind of activity that you do. And I think that you will find that once it is in your toolbox, the kind of activity that you do, the kind of thing that would engage the learning in a very personal way. And one of the reasons I like digital storytelling is precisely because it gets this personal aspect into it, this engagement, because it's your story, right? Once you buy into actually developing one, it will be your story. So you cannot be disengaged from your own story. So it kind of, it's a natural way, if it fits with what you want to do, it's a natural way of getting this authentic learning environment that we were talking about.
I understood also from Mitch's question that this is not a one-day activity. I mean, it's probably a semester-long project because it takes a lot of time. And I think that kids would have to put time besides class time in order to have an interesting project.
That is true. As with